running a research group. I'm happy to meet with students, but please send me an email to try to set up time to deal with it. As you probably remember from the syllabus, we were just on spring break, which is this nice day down there. And the rest of the semester is going to flow through, both Eric and I basically take the tack that we're going to follow the central dogma. We started with DNA, move from DNA to RNA, RNA to protein. My understanding is that Eric is taking you through how RNA is synthesized, both in bacterial and eukaryotic systems. And there's a lot done to the RNA before it's ultimately translated. That's where we're going to spend the next couple of lectures on and dealing with RNA processing. Then, of course, that RNA has to be fed into a translational machinery made up of a ribosome. We're going to go through how that genetic code is established, what the role of tRNAs are, what the role of ribosome RNAs are, and move through translation. That will take us through the central dogma, DNA to RNA to protein. In this introductory level class, the idea is also to introduce you to areas of development, as well as a little bit of model systems for different organisms that are used in the lab. So we'll go through both mitosis and meiosis and gametogenesis. We'll go through a variety of developmental stages, primarily highlighting model systems and how they can be used. And then the last section of the class is largely going to be cancer. And these aren't generally just done as generic cancer setups. There is so much to cover on cancer, one could spend 4 or 5 years studying it. We're going to try to give you the gross overview of the most important facts that are going to go on. My testing strategy is very similar to Eric's. I'm going to ask you certain things that are simply facts. I'm going to teach you a fact. I'm going to ask you on the exam to regurgitate that fact back to me. I hate regurgitation teaching. You should expect more for your dollars that you're paying. So I'm also going to teach you fact A and fact B and ask you a question that asks you to synergize those two together. Everything's still going to be multiple choice. In order to give you an idea of my general expectations, and these are already up on the website, we always put out study guides. My study guides have a general objective of what we're doing, some sort of key concepts that you should understand, some key terms that are generally sort of factoid bits of information you should be familiar with, and then I give you between 15 and 25 practice problems. Realize your exam is probably only going to have 50 questions on it in the first place, and each section is going to have this many questions. Probably 80% of your exam questions are going to be derived directly from the things that are on your study guide. So if you can tell me all about the cap and what its function and roles are, you're going to do very well on the exam. If you can't, you're going to do very poorly on it. I will announce one final philosophy. I don't believe that any institution should be a pay-for-a-diploma institution. If you wanted to spend $100,000 and get a piece of paper, you can do that in many, many institutions across the U.S. I believe that if you're actually going to get a diploma from an institution, it should mean that you excelled at that institution. That's a polite way of saying I don't mind failing people, because I don't think you should simply pay simply to graduate. I think you should actually perform to graduate. And I think if you think about it for a little while, you'll actually agree with that scenario. You don't want your diploma to be nothing less other than to say you spent a lot of money on it. So with that in mind, I'm happy to open up any questions, but as you know, we've got a jam-packed semester. We need to get directly into the material that's here. So I'm happy to handle format questions now or anything along the likes. I'm very interactive. I apologize this week. My arm was dislocated yesterday. I took my brace off so I don't look like a complete idiot up here. But I cannot really write very well with my right hand right now, so we're going to be limited to a lot of pointing and gesturing. Hopefully by Wednesday, my shoulder will allow me to pick my elbow farther than that away from my body. Any general concerns? We're happy. The only other thing I will tell you is don't fall asleep in my class. I will walk right up to you. I will lecture from next to you. I will make fun of you. I will put things on your sleeping head. I will make you embarrassed to the point where you will never fall asleep in another class again. So please, if you're tired, go get some rest. Yes, ma'am?
Are you have weekly quizzes?
Same thing as Erica, yes. So everything's going to be placed online. 3-question quiz, multiple choice. You'll be able to bop through it right away. service. Hoping this will switch over quickly.